Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. We are talking about social credit scoring. It is happening. And if you have ever done a ride share like Uber or Lyft, I want to talk about that specifically because I have a healthy American who just wrote to me and told me what happened to him. And I remember some months ago when my friend and fellow freedom fighter Renette Senum, she was running for the governor when we were doing that recall in California. And what a surprise. Newsom stayed as governor. Gee, because everybody can't stand him. So she had horror stories of trying to order food like off Uber Eats, and she got things on her phone saying, "Oh, your Uber Eats has been disabled." And then she thought, "Well, that's weird. Let me try my Uber app." And then she tried that, and it's like, "Oh, you are no longer able to use this." She was being discriminated against and targeted with all of these apps on her phone while she was running. She had her campaign for governor. I don't know if that has been resolved or not. And I told you stories about what happened to me with PayPal and Venmo, and even other sites that you wouldn't even think would be after you. But I want to talk about what's going on with this social credit scoring and how that could be a life and death situation, including for my friend and fellow freedom fighter here. So I do want to bring you a message from a sponsor. I'm grateful to the sponsors. This is how I'm able to pay off my own legal bills. So let me take you right on over. And we are looking at, it is Get Cert. And I want to tell you about this because prior to all of the hogwash being sloshed all over us, I used to make my own health and wellness products. Many of you are asking me for my youth serum. I'm going to be bringing that back. But I used to have a green powder that I made. I called it fat burning fiber, and people loved it. But with all of the difficulties with cooties, oh my gosh, can you believe I almost said it? Anyway, suffice it to say that I love the green drinks. I'm no longer making my own, but this is one I love. And if you would like to try it, it's called Ultimate Cert, SIRT, juice, and you go to getcert.com. And I want to show you the ingredients. They're very clean. It's a type of superfood, proprietary blend. These are the kinds of things that I like to take because it gives me energy without any downside like caffeine. So what I wanted to do was let you know the message, and it's all about the CERT food diet. You may have heard about it. Celebrities are using it. It's not a restrictive diet, but it's about specific foods that you should be adding to your diet, such as what is in this drink. And there was a world famous singer that lost 100 pounds doing the CERT diet, and the mixed martial artists are using it. And a world championship boxer, David Hay, credits his amazing shape to this. And there are two international best-selling authors who created this diet. It's called the CERT Food Diet. And that's Glenn Matten and Aidan Goggins. But this is easier for you. You don't have to do the diet. You can just try this juice, see if you like it. You get all of these potent CERT foods combined into one revolutionary, powerful drink. You get the benefits of the diet through this drink. So again, Ultimate CERT Juice helps you lose weight, designed to help with your overall health and give you more energy to do the things you love. So that's what I'm experiencing. I would love for you to do the same. All of my lovely healthy Americans, you get $20 off. Go to getcert.com/Peggy. I'll have a link for you in the description box below. Much cheaper than doing a juice cleanse, easier. Try it out and let me know how you like it. Friends, let's talk about the social credit scoring. What does that mean? It means that your activities are being tracked. And what I find really yucky about all of this is it's like other people are rating you. And it happens all the time. I went to, like, told you that I do my banking in person. And I was at the bank the other day, just doing banking. This is one way that I'm not going to do all the digital stuff. I use cash. I bank in person. I don't use the self-checkout. I talked about all of these things. These are things that I personally can do, even though it might be less convenient. It's not about convenience. It's about freedom. And when I came back a couple of days later, I got something in my email saying, would you rate your experience at the bank? So they want me to rate the teller. But you know what? I think I'm being rated. You know what I mean? Because if I give the teller a low rating and they see that I am a complainer or something, maybe my account is going to be flagged that I'm someone that gives low ratings. it's kind of a strange thing. I always feel like that's going to backfire. Whenever I do something, on the phone or anything, it seems like I'm always getting a survey. Like, would you stay on the line and give a survey? And often I like to give the surveys because I want to acknowledge people when they did great customer service. I don't want to be in a country like it's where third world customer service where you don't even get to talk to an American and you get on the phone tree and everything's done electronically. I want to speak to a person. So usually if that happens and it's a good experience, I want to give my feedback. But then I started thinking, because sometimes I say no, like, oh, press 1 if you want to leave your comment, press 2 if you, or just hang up. And I'm thinking, I bet they're tracking me if I don't leave a comment. Did that ever occur to you? Like it could backfire. So that's kind of strange. Like, should we all leave really good comments so it doesn't backfire on us? It's come to my mind before. Well, this is what happens when you take an Uber or a Lyft. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, I had some eye procedures and I was unable to drive because my eyes were healing. And I most of the time, hubby would pick me up or drop me off, but once in a while it was a little inconvenient. So I would take an Uber, and I actually would tell the driver, please don't make any crazy U-turns or something, because I can't be jostled. I have this really delicate eye situation, and I can't, I literally could not be, jostled or bumped, or I couldn't be hugged. I had to be really, really quiet. And so they were often very pleasant and so forth. And then after you're done with your ride, what do? Up comes a way to rate them, and you can give them a tip, you give them the stars, and they're rating you as well. And they can say whether you were a polite, occupant, whether you left trash in the car. I don't know what else they rate you on, but it really is like eerie in a way that another person has power to rate you in this social credit system. That's a little bit different than your own actions. For example, every grocery store, if you have one of those loyalty cards, I do not. All right. I don't want the grocery store keeping track of what I buy. And if you pay cash, there's no way of tracking that. But those loyalty cards, they want to give you money, or they want to give you a discount, which I always thought was kind of strange. Like, shouldn't everybody, can't we all have the discount? And I have been in stores where they ran their own card. You could just say, oh, I don't have a card. And then I think like at Vaughn's or one of the local stores, they would run their own card. So they've been tracking people for a long, long time. And I believe that that is a way of actually restricting what it is you can buy. And they may say, or at least they'll get a snapshot of it, like, do you buy alcohol? Do you buy cigarettes? Do you buy junk food, potato chips, meat, for example? And then that could be used against you in the future. And I do believe that that is coming. And that's part of the cashless society, whereby if everything is paid for on your phone, like at least cash, I can give cash. But if you're paying on your phone, which I do not do, I don't have a cash app on my phone, then you might try to pay with it. There's money in your account, but you're trying to buy potato chips and meat or whatever it is, I don't know, soft drinks or something. And they're going to say, oh, no, probably it's the opposite. The government wants you to be unhealthy. So, eat all the junk food. But this is where we are. It already exists. Okay. I had my PayPal account taken down the day after I spoke at a very large Patriot event in Anaheim. And I think other people had their PayPal account taken down. PayPal and Venmo, PayPal owns Venmo, or Venmo owns PayPal. My Venmo account went away, which in a way I was kind of glad, because that's cashless also, where people are sending you money, but it's like in the app. So I was happy. I don't want to use PayPal. And this is long before people started taking themselves off PayPal. This was a year or two before PayPal had their own community guidelines saying that they could keep your money. And that's what they did. That's exactly what they did. They kept my money for something like 6 months. And finally they released it, but they're not a bank, so they don't have to go by the banking regulations. And then I had Vimeo, which is a video hosting site that I used for my health and wellness business for 10, 15 years. They shut that off. They said that I violated their community guidelines, did not tell me what video it was. And I had to fight, and I finally got that restored. But it's just a flip of the switch. And I'm being throttled here on YouTube. I mean, I do not ever get, my subscriber count is frozen. Many of you have told me that you've been unsubscribed 2 or 3 times. Do me a favor and check to see if you're subscribed. You probably aren't, even though you just resubscribed yesterday. They do not show my videos. All of this is an algorithm designed to limit and ban our ability to participate in a free society. And particularly people like me and you who are vocal about what we do. I had somebody tell me they got a strike for leaving a comment on YouTube. They were not able to leave a comment for a week or something because whatever they said went against the community guidelines. It's not even just the creators like myself running the channels. Absolutely stunning. So here's the story of a healthy American. And incidentally, he's one that sent me the the cloud pictures from Florida. And he said, "Dear Peggy, I feel compelled to share this with you because I just got this email in my inbox. And it's basically a threatening email from Lyft. Right? I've never done Lyft, but it's like Uber, stating that I'm at risk of losing my ability to ride with them. The thing is," he's writing, "the transportation is provided by my health insurance, and they use Lyft, and it's the only way that I can get to and from my doctor's appointments and my medical treatments." So this is where it really hits home. This isn't just like, oh, you're going out with friends, maybe, I don't know, out for the evening and you don't want to drive home, so you're taking Lyft to your event. Okay, you could probably have somebody help you, or maybe there's another way. But when your own health insurance is requiring you to use this ride share, or they cover the cost of it to get your medical treatments and go to your doctor's appointments, and now they're threatening this healthy American, it says, he included it for me, and he says, "Notice how it doesn't identify the driver who reported me, nor does it identify the offense that I allegedly committed, or the offense that I allegedly committed. Additionally, the email does not include any means of communication. There's no email address, there's no phone number. I cannot even dispute it. I can't even inquire about the details of the allegation by Lyft." This reminds me of other social sites where I've been kicked off and I had my ability to email you taken away because they said that I violated their community standards. And you go to do an appeal and all you get is AI. It is a typed up boilerplate response that says this decision is final and there are no appeals. It sounds like what you went through with your job, isn't it? This decision is final and there are no appeals, although there is always an appeal, especially with your employer, because it's illegal to discriminate against you based on your medical condition and based on your religious beliefs and based on your ethical and moral convictions. And I've gone over this with, oh my, it feels like 1,000 videos. Maybe it was 1,000 hours for sure in all of the religious exemption information. So it's so frustrating because you are dealing with AI. And did you see now they want to have the AI cars? I'll have to bring up a funny video for you on that. It's not that funny because the cars don't know what they were doing. Why would you want to do that? Anyway, I would never do that. So he says that, Peggy, it says that this is a second occurrence with Lyft. The only previously alleged occurrence I can recall was nearly 4 years ago when I was in California, he says. If I recall correctly, again, the driver reported me for refusing to wear the suffocation device. Now he's in Florida and he says, today I had 3 rides with Lyft to 2 different medical appointments. Currently, I happen to be coughing a lot because I'm recovering from a bout of bronchitis, he says. I'm confident that the reporting driver was the one that brought me home from my appointment with my GP. Keep in mind that I consistently cover my mouth when coughing. And I noticed after a short time, the driver in the driver's vehicle, he opened all the windows. People live in fear. They really do. Why doesn't the driver suffocate himself if he's so afraid? I mean, that's my question. By the way, hello, it's not illegal to be sick. This is something I have to make a t-shirt that says being sick is not against the law. I have a right to be sick. Let me know if I have not been telling you about the t-shirts. I need to get that up and running for you again, friends. I think there's a link in the description box. Somebody told me they love the one that says hashtag never have, never will. And it's a great conversation starter. But I want to educate people to the truth that you have a right to be sick, right? Maybe you want to stay home. Maybe you want your body to detox. Maybe you want to cough to clear your lungs. Maybe you want to have a fever so that your body can burn up whatever it is it's trying to release. Maybe you want to put your feet up and drink some tea and not go to work for a couple of days. Maybe you want your loved one to do the laundry and the dishes and you take the couple of days off. There's no law against being sick. And this is what the evildoers tried to inflict upon us with all of the hogwash sloshing, that somehow it was illegal to be sick. We have to stand against this. We have to go to the very, very first premise of everything. And the first premise is I have a right to be sick. It's not illegal. I have a right to even go to the grocery store when I'm sick. I have a right to even go to work. Not that I would, and I don't have any more jobs because they took those away from me. They didn't even give me the contracts back. But I have a right, not that I would, because it's out of my own, decision. But there is no law against being sick. Are the cooties police coming after me? He said, since I have bronchitis, I can't control my coughing. And again, I consistently cover my mouth when doing so. Now, with this strike against me, I could permanently lose my transportation to and from the doctor's offices, to and from my necessary medical treatments, because something I have no control over. And the threat from Lyft is also based on a previous allegation from nearly 4 years ago. He said, this is truly chilling. Please feel free to use this anecdote whenever and however you like. Thank you for all you do, and may God continue to protect and richly bless you. And I'm so grateful for this healthy American. And so here is what I'll just show this to you. It's creepy. And that's what it is. It's a creepy social credit system. So let me make sure I've got this here for you. And let me know, did this happen to you? Did it happen to you with Lyft? Did it happen to you with some location? I was told I could not go to the community swimming pool unless I suffocated myself outside. To walk through a gate to get to the swimming pool is about 20 feet. I told him, I'll just hold my breath. I told him I will carry a tissue. And if I have to cough or sneeze, I'll cough or sneeze into the tissue, which is far more sanitary than a filthy suffocation device. They didn't like that either. And I said, well, just clear everybody out and I'll just walk really fast. They didn't like that either. All of those are required by law, by the way, for them to accommodate me. The gate that I was walking through is large enough for a wheelchair, not because out of the kindness of their heart, but because the law requires that these public places, that the door is large enough for a wheelchair to go through. So they're accommodating somebody who wants to go swimming in a wheelchair, but they don't want to accommodate somebody breathing oxygen, and you don't have to wear it in the pool. And I didn't have to wear it at the ticket counter with my 15-minute conversation with all of the laws, the California laws that they were violating. And what they said was, you have to go, and if you ever come back, you're going to get a trespass. So then I started to fight the city on that. And then I had bigger fish to fry to fight the county because the city said they're just following the county. Anyway, the point being, it is required. You are required to be accommodated. And so I never went back to that pool. Even if it was free, even if they paid me to go, I will never go back. There are several places I will never go back to. I will never go back to Costco, just for one. But let me share my screen. And here is this is it. It says, heads up, please follow our guidelines. Now, could they have made that a little larger? Seriously. On a recent ride, we heard that you received a low star rating. Oh, heaven forbid. Meanwhile, all of the permanent visitors are flooding across the border. They're not getting any low star ratings. Come on in. They probably can ride on Lyft. This isn't your first warning to improve how you ride. If we continue receiving similar feedback from drivers, your account will be temporarily suspended. Lyft is a community that cares for one another, except for you. You breathing oxygen, we don't care about. Please review our community guidelines and terms of service so you can rack up another 5-star rating. This is creepy on so many accounts. As my Healthy American said, there's nothing there. There's no one to write. There's no one to contact. There's no information. Like, what is a low star rating? Is it a 1-star? Is it a 2-star? This is critical thinking. You need to ask all of these questions. This isn't your first warning. How many warnings have I had? What do you mean similar feedback? Temporarily suspended. For how long? How long is temporary? Lyft is a community that cares for one another. Well, you're not being very caring right now. So those are the exact comments and questions that I would have for Lyft. It is creepy. It's creepy that you are being monitored in this way. And it is a slow creep. It's called incrementalism. And that's how they do it. Because if they did it immediately, like in one fell swoop, like they did, they made a mistake in a certain way with the suffocation devices and with the cocktails. I think, back in the day, if they hadn't pushed so hard, I think a lot of people would have gone along with it. I think a lot more people would have maybe even become a human pincushion if it hadn't been pushed so much. But when they're like, oh, you can get a donut. It's like, well, I certainly want a donut because that's healthy. I mean, having a donut is obviously good for you. Otherwise, why would the government tell you that you should have a donut once you become a human pincushion? It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So this is the slow creep of incrementalism. And I want to hear from you what you've been going through. I want to see if I can get any messages here. Tammy says, this should have nothing to do with a ride. What you do is your own personal life. And Mystery Cat said, yeah, it's just like it is on YouTube, does it as well. Mazda likes the content. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's stunning. You know what's going to happen, friends? And I think this is what's really great, because I always like to close out on hopefully on a positive note. So positive note, get on my Substack, resubscribe here. It helps a lot when you like the video, when you share the video, when you comment. Many of you are telling me you're trying to share on Facebook or Instagram, and it's telling you that this is harmful content. It just goes to show you it's a shadow ban. They haven't kicked me off of this platform. I am on Rumble, so that's a good backup. The best backup is peggyhall.tv. That's my vault. Now, I'm not active there, really interacting in the chat or anything, but it's literally the vault where all of my videos are, including my personal appearances, including the times that I spoke at Beach Church. There are Pastor David's sermons are there. So a lot is there that you don't find on any of these platforms. That's where you can find me if I go missing. But here's what's going to happen. There are people, and I know some people, that actually started up their own private rideshare. Now, I did find this on Facebook. So in some places, you can do a search, like whatever area you're in, and you can say, hey, I'm looking for a ride to the airport. And someone will say, hey, I've got a ride service. So they're operating outside of Lyft and Uber, and you pay them privately. Maybe you can pay a friend to do it, or maybe you have a group of people and you can carpool. So that is really a good way to do it, is push that aside. And ideally, you can find another way. There is always another way. I want to help you find it. That's one of my mottos. It helps me keep my head above the waves, because the bottom line is the bad guys want us to stay up at night worrying about the social credit scoring. So don't worry about it. We are exposing it. We are pushing back. There is another way, and I want to help you find it. Thank you for being on board, everybody. I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. And I do have several stories of breaking news that I want to bring to you as well. I can only do 1 or 2 videos a day. And other than that, be sure that you're on my Substack. And that's another way that we can stay in touch. And let's continue to march this all the way to heaven. Victory is ours. Repeat after me. Victory is ours. See you soon, everybody.